ASMR video. Today we're doing, once again, another Am I the AO? And once again I've just woken up, my hair is a bit of a mess, I definitely need a shower, but we're making a video first. So I got myself a nice coffee, as you may have seen in the thumbnail. We've got coffee and we have got some stories. So let's start with the first one, which is, am I the a-hole for refusing to let my parents move in with me after they lost their house? Oh dear. I, 33F, have been living in my own home for a few years. I bought it with my own money and have worked hard to make it a comfortable and safe place after growing up in a very unstable environment. Wow, that's pretty cool that you bought your own home. I can't lie, at 33, to be buying your own home on your own means you must have some very good cash dollar. I suppose it also depends on where you're buying, but anyway, my parents' 60s have always been terrible with money, constantly making poor financial decisions despite my efforts to help them budget. Recently, they lost the house due to foreclosure. They reached out to me asking if they could move in temporarily while they get back on their feet, but two additional adults would really stretch the limits of my arms, and I value my privacy and independence. More importantly, my parents have a history of being overbearing and disrespecting my boundaries. The last time my parents stayed with me, they criticised everything about my lifestyle, rearranging furniture without asking, and even got into an argument with one of my neighbours. I offered to help them find an affordable rental and even offered to pay their first month of rent. I also found a government assistance program they can apply for. They refused, saying their family should stick together and that it was my duty to help them in their time of need. Okay, there we go. My siblings are divided. My older brother thinks I'm heartless. Fuck off. While my younger sister understands my concerns. Both of them live in smaller apartments, so they do not have the option to host my parents. Oh, I'm sorry, they don't have the option. Oh, they're being heartless. My parents have been guilt-tripping me. They say they took care of me growing up. You didn't ask to be born. It was their job. And now it's my turn to take care of them. That's not what having children is for. My parents are now telling my extended family I'm abandoning them, and I'm getting messages from relatives. It's making me second-guess my decision, even though I know my mental health would suffer if they moved in. Am I the a-hole for refusing to let my parents move in after they lost the house? Should I be willing to accommodate them, or am I right to stick to my own well-being and boundaries? I'm feeling very conflicted and could use some outside perspective. Well, here's the thing. If the I would say it wouldn't. I don't know if a-hole would have been the right word, but let's assume the parents weren't kind of not particularly great people. Then, yeah, okay, maybe. It's not an obligation, but would I consider someone an a-hole if their parents were struggling and they were good people and they were nice and you didn't help them out that way? Maybe, but at the same time, what you've also suggested is a good option. Not only it's not, you don't have to just let them live in your home to to help, right? So right now, even without that side, you've already done enough. I mean, personally, I would, but at the same time, I don't have a bad relationship with my with my family. I wouldn't say anyway, and so I certainly would trust that they wouldn't be there doing all these things, and if they did, and I set those boundaries, they would respect them. Whereas clearly that's not the case here. So with that context in mind, doubly so, you're not in the wrong. But you didn't abandon them, and then it says all that they said that you've abandoned them after you said, I helped them find this scheme, I'll help them find a rental apartment, and I agreed to pay their first month of rent. I'm not being funny, but the older brother is saying that you're heartless. Okay, so is he going to pay for the month of rent then? What's he doing? Oh, is he going to let them stay there? Oh, it's inconvenient. Sounds kind of heartless to me. It's inconvenient. Well, you make room, don't you? The point is, the brother is being sucked into it. Yeah, I think it's kind of obvious that you're not the a-hole, and the fact that they're talking to extended family and saying that you've abandoned them is ridiculous. I would respond to every one of those messages saying, just so you know, neither of my siblings have been willing to take them in, and also I've actually said I'll pay for them their rent in the first place that they moved to, but they haven't bothered. They refused. But my brother actually hasn't suggested anything. He's not willing to do that. So before you come for me, I'm actually the only one not abandoning our parents. Yeah, your brother is a piece of shit. Let's see what people have said. Probably going to agree if I'm honest. I think it's kind of self-explanatory, this one. Oh my god. What is this person? My parents' 60s have always been terrible with money, constantly making poor financial decisions despite my efforts to help budget them. Oh, basically someone's just quoting the section, not in your house. Not in your house. Oh, I can't be bothered to read this one because it's just like quoting. Yeah. Let's see what else we got on here. Anyone else got any good points? Not the AO. Once your parents move into your house, they'll never leave. They have a plan, and there will always be a plausible reason why they can't move out. They're not going to stay with you until they can get back on their feet. You're their retirement plan. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yep, I mean, everyone agrees, of course they do. It's really not that hard to agree with that one, but let's move on to the next one before the 10-minute mark. That's pretty impressive. Am I the A for not having catered vegan food at my wedding? Thought this would be an interesting one. Throw away in case my friend is on here. But the thing is, I'm not being funny, but like, what's the point in having a throwaway? Because you're putting your ages and the situation that is highly unique. Throwaways are just dumb, in my opinion, unless you're going to strip the actual facts and details from the... Anyway, 27F got married recently. I invited a friend, 27F, and her partner, and she was excited to come. They live in another country, 3.5 hour flight away, so coming isn't easy or cheap for them. We asked 7 months before the wedding about dietary needs. She told us her and her partner would need vegan options. Since my dinner included veggie options, I wrongly assumed the caterer would also do vegan ones. When I asked 1.5 months before the wedding, I learned they couldn't. I should have asked earlier. Unfortunately, some things came up and delayed our prep. It sounds like it's still your responsibility, I can't lie. I informed my friend saying I was sorry, initially asking if she had any ideas about what we could do. Maybe I was in the wrong there, and then offering to go get something myself or buy something from the supermarket, but the conversation turned quite cold, and the next day she decided not to come to the wedding or to the bachelorette that was happening the following week. Even though there was no catering issues there, she said her decision was final and we could speak after the wedding, as she didn't want to upset me before the day. Okay, well, you did, obviously. After a couple, I would like to, I know I'm going to finish the story here, but like, I would like to know how she told the friend. I can't lie, because this is giving me miscommunication. After a couple of days, I asked if she could help me understand her decision. She said she found it disrespectful that I didn't have a suitable vegan option for her and her partner, so chose so close to the date, even though they told me with plenty of notice. I felt extremely hurt and blindsided, especially since I felt she didn't give me a chance to find a solution together. I kind of understand her not coming to the wedding, even though I'm vegetarian and attended plenty of weddings that didn't have veggie options, but that's her call. Yeah, but those people aren't very good people either then, are they? But not skipping the bachelorette, since we could easily have planned for vegan food. Now I'm not sure I want to be her friend anymore. Am I the AR? Some bits of context. There were no restrictions at our venue for bringing home-cooked outside food. I generally thought a home-cooked meal was a nice option, but I'm seeing that many of you think otherwise. Obviously there's some... I don't know, I mean, I agree with people that it... Like, imagine everyone else is having this catered option, and you are having a home-cooked meal. It would kind of suck, but at the same time, like, at the end of the day, you're not there for the food. I think I'm divided on that. I won't lie. Our dinner was a type of food with a base of and toppings. There were no other type of food available, as the caterer specialises in that. But it caters to most people since you choose the toppings. I knew it was short for vegetarian, didn't know they wouldn't do vegan options basically. I told my friend about this casually over text while we were discussing the bachelorette. Then you're the issue. I'm not being funny, but it's your fault. Oh my god, I would be so pissed off. I would be like, I can't lie, I would be like, huh? And I see that I probably shouldn't have mentioned it until I could give her a more detailed option. No, you should have discussed it the moment you found out and called. I thought it'd be nice to keep her in the loop and know what she preferred, but I see now I probably shouldn't have made it a burden, which is I'm very sorry about. No, you are not getting it. You should not have said it over text casually. This is something important to this person. You said you would offer a vegan option, and you didn't, and that's not your fault necessarily. You didn't know that I mean, it is, but like, it isn't a direct, like, intended thing that you did, right? It was an accident, but it's still your fault, and you didn't tell her in a way that was respectful to casually just be like, oh, by the way, there's no vegan food because the caterer didn't do this, but I'm looking at other options. That would piss me off. If someone just messaged me, that's something that I told you months in advance, and you had just said, oh, by the way, they're not offering it a month and a half beforehand, I think I would be questioning whether I would want to be your friend. I know that sounds dramatic, but like, it's the principle, not the actual thing, right? It's the principle of like, I've given you so much warning, and yet you still haven't listened. That's what it feels like. If you had called her and said, look, I'm really fucking sorry. I'm really, really sorry. I know there are vegetarian options, and I wrongfully assumed there would be vegan options, but I'm gonna make it right. That would be different, not casually dropping it. There are more context. The caterer had been booked for 10 months in advance before we asked for restrictions, and when I asked about vegan options, they said they didn't have time to sort one out, or just that they flat out didn't offer any. Didn't say that they didn't. Oh yeah, but maybe I should have pushed back harder on that. Well, if you had asked at the time, you would have found out. But that's an issue that you can't undo. But at the same time, like, you know, now you know for future reference to do that on any other event. But like, at the end of the day, it's still your fault. I'm sorry. I think, yeah, I've already got a conclusion on this. People might disagree with me. Some of you saying I shouldn't have asked for restrictions at all if I can't provide them. No, that's not the case. Like, I'm not being funny. Like, that's it obviously isn't the case that she can't provide them. The issue is that she asked for restrictions and believed the catering company would automatically provide them, and wrongfully believed that. She intended. I don't think there's any world where this person intended to ask for a vegan option, whether someone needed a vegan option and not provide it. it was an accident. I don't think the issue is necessarily her being a bad person at all, really. What I do think makes her the a-hole is the way in which she told the OP and then seems to almost gaslight the friend into feeling like, oh, maybe I don't know if I want to be her friend anymore after she did that. So if she's not ever going to see this, let's be honest, but like, if you're ever in this situation, you need to take a second, pause, and show some empathy. If that were you, for a second, think you have given someone a dietary restriction, something to a flight, to a wedding that you are going to be flying to another country for. You tell them that nearly a year in advance. And a month or so before the wedding, in the middle of a conversation about something else, they drop casually, by the way, there aren't any other, you're not going to be able to have, there's no vegan option, I am thinking of what else to do. You're going to feel, wow, am I flying 3.5 hours? Am I doing an expensive flight to another country for someone that didn't even bother to check if there was a vegan option for me? Would you feel happy with that friend? I wouldn't. I would try to empathise, but at the same time, it's the way in which she was told that really is the issue, and that's why I think OP is the a-hole here. I don't think for any other reason. People make mistakes. People make wrongful assumptions. You hear a vegetarian option, you think there might be vegan as well. That's, it's a mistake. Doesn't make you an a-hole. But the way in which she's been told, and the fact that she's now sort of being like, oh, maybe I don't want to be her friend because she's like saying she doesn't want to come to the wedding, is a bit self-centered. Yeah. Oh wow. Here we go. I'm insanely confused as to how the catering company could provide vegetarian course, but not literally anything at all that vegans could eat. Anyway, not the a-hole, because it probably includes milk and egg and other non-meat products. Anyway, not the a-hole. We made every effort to offer alternatives, but your friend was more concerned about the day working for her rather than the bride and groom. No, your friend was hurt because she told you months in advance and you didn't, and from her perspective, you didn't listen to her, and then last minute made a change and made her feel like an afterthought on a wedding that she is flying 3.5 hours to come to. I'm not being funny, I get, as someone that is in the middle of preparing a wedding, it is a day about the bride and groom, but at the same time, it's not just about those people. You want everyone else to feel welcome, to feel like is a day for, in my opinion, a wedding is a day for everyone. It's not just the bride and groom, it's a celebration of the bride and groom, but it's a day for everyone. And if someone was coming to my wedding, I want them to feel comfortable and happy to be there. I would never in my wildest dreams ever think about providing an option, or not providing an option, for someone who has specific dietary requirements. If someone has a nut allergy, no nuts. If someone is vegan, a vegan option. I don't get it. She said she found it disrespectful that I didn't have a suitable vegan option for her and her partner so close to the date, even though they told me with plenty of notice. Which, I'm going to say, my comment there, perfectly viable comment for her to make. And then the person's replied, the lack of concern you demonstrated here is the problem now, not simply the lack of vegan options. And that is the nail in the coffin. That is the issue. It's not the lack of the vegan option. The issue is the lack of concern. Or the lack of, not just the lack of concern, but the lack of understanding why your friend would be upset about finding that out, and the way in which she's been told. You had a chance. The chance was when she informed you of her dining needs, and you were all, no problem, I got a caterer for that, and then just did not. Yeah, I get, again, I don't hold it, it doesn't make her an a-hole, it just makes her a human being that made a mistake. She tried to make a solution, and that's fine, but the friend is well within her right to feel upset, especially the way in which she was told. That's the last time I'm going to talk about this, because I feel like I've gone on for like 20 minutes nearly about this. I haven't gone on for 20 minutes, but it's been a while. So here's the third and final story. Am I the a-hole for getting livid about my fiancée complaining that I didn't unpack all of her clothes? This is an interesting one. It's a big fucking block of text, this. Good lord. My fiancée and I took a 4-day trip to California with her family. We've been together for 5 years now. Our flight back home got in late, so we were not home till 1 a.m. Just for some backstory, the 4-day vacation did not go as anticipated. Mum, stepdad, and her were arguing. Her mum/stepdad and her were arguing for a large part of it. I was in the middle of everything and felt left feeling very awkward. And I'm typically in the middle of a lot of uncomfortable family situations with her due to the relationship she has with her parents. But that's besides the point. Last night, when we arrive, we get home, eat, and then she decides she's going to sleep. I decide that I'm going to unpack and clean the house as much as I can so that when we wake up we are not overwhelmed with the things that still need to get done before going back to work. I spend the next 3 hours until 4 a.m. sweeping our 1,800 square foot house, flex, wiping down all the counters, mopping all the floors, taking the clothes out of our luggage and putting them away, doing laundry, taking out the trash, recycling, cleaning the litter boxes, cleaning her small purse that was stained, and she had been mentioning for the whole trip she really wanted to have clean, putting away all of her shoes, toiletries, makeup and some of her socks and underwear. The only thing I left in the big suitcase were clothes she wore, which were all washed and ready to be put away because I made sure that I did her laundry at the Airbnb. This isn't going to go well, is it? By the time I was done with everything, I was exhausted and still had to shower. I showered, then got into bed and went to sleep. Today we both wake up extra late and everything is fine until she realises that we need groceries. She starts making a list and then asks if I want to go with her. I tell her no, I'm exhausted. Not to mention I got sunburn so bad. I've looked like I've had red socks on for the last few days, lol. She goes to take a shower and when she's done, she asks me where all her clothes are. I tell her all your clothes, all of your clone cleats from the trip are in the big suitcase, and then this is when she gets angry at me. She says, "What were you doing last night? I find it hard to believe you couldn't just put my clothes away. It's like you didn't even think of me, like you just don't care. I always put your clothes away and do things for you, and you don't even help me." All the way my bags would be packed. I'm joking. Well, I don't know actually, it depends how consistent this is. And then I hear that her voice begin to sound like she's about to cry. This is when I felt my blood start to boil. This is the worst way. Okay, I've got a statement here. I don't know if people are going to agree with it, but I think I know my chronically online psychologist self is going to tell you what happened here. Anyway, I listed off all the things. This is the moment it goes wrong. I listed off all the things I did do for us and all the things I did specifically for her. Then she has the audacity to tell me, "I didn't ask you to do any of that," and my response to that is, if you didn't ask, then why are you complaining about what I didn't do? What I didn't do that you didn't ask me to do? I don't know anymore what to say to her or how to reason with this. But she blew up, and I'm beyond frustrated with her. Would appreciate any piece of advice. I think people are going to shit on her here, but I've got a feeling I know what happened. You've already said. I think you kind of know as well, because you added the context. She's had an awful time. She's had an awful holiday. And she's been arguing with her parents the entire time. You got home late, she's probably about as exhausted as you are. Granted that you were up much later, but let's be honest, you've just done a massive trip. You're back home, like, even if you stayed up later, you're both going to be fucking exhausted. She's exhausted, she feels like shit, and something has, like, triggered that feeling. It's not your fault. Let's be clear, you're obviously not the a-hole, and I don't think she is either. I think you're both exhausted, and I think she it's a parent situation, right? She obviously has an awful relationship with her family. That's quite clear. The whole trip she's been arguing, probably doesn't feel cared for by the parents. And it's just been rough, and she's emotionally vulnerable. She comes back home, she asks where her clothes are, she sees that the rest of the stuff has been done, but her stuff has been left. That's not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. But she sees that, and perhaps in her mind, that triggers something. Everything that, like, visually, whether it's correct or not, she sees it and goes, you did everything else that was best for you. And she, and this isn't right, because you did put stuff of hers away, but she doesn't see that, right? She just sees the clothes right now. It's a tunnel vision. And that feeling triggers, in that moment, a feeling of, like, not being cared about. Something that she's been feeling that entire trip, and everything comes rushing back, and you become the punching bag. And that's not right, it's not okay, but at the end of the day, we are humans, that does happen. It's very easy for that for things to trigger like that and to come flushing out, and for it to be pushed out on the wrong people. Does that mean that she was in the right? Absolutely not. You did everything you could to make that house as amazing and easy for both of you the next day. And I think it just triggered something for her. What needs to happen here is you need to sit down with her and talk. It's a talk situation. I don't believe either of you the a-hole here. It's giving me like the textbook situation of like a triggered response to trauma, or to like an emotionally vulnerable moment. It's not about the clothes. It's about her parents. That's what it feels like. It obviously in the moment you're feeling frustrated. You're gonna like roll off the tongue the things you did. But I'll be honest, that was probably not the right thing to do. In that moment, it would have been good. In hindsight, and maybe for the future, like I get you're not going to be watching this, right? The person, I know, I love that I talk in like the second person here, like or at least like talk to this person, but really it's kind of an address to other people as well. In moments like this, it's good to take a second to breathe and try to analyse what's happening right now. Why is this happening? Because often these things are not surface level, they come from something under the surface, and right now it's not about you, it's about the situation, and just taking a moment to go, are you okay? And sometimes that question is all that's needed, and to just realise that maybe I'm overanalyzing this, and she's just very narcissistic, and everything has to be about her, and if something isn't done for her, then she's not happy. But I don't get that impression, and I think the context of what that holiday was really kind of drives that home for me. That said, I know these comments are going to just shit on her, and I'm prepared for it. Let's go and look. It's going to be not the a-hole, but she expects everything done. Oh, actually, someone has suggested. Okay, this is an interesting one. Fair enough. Not the a-hole. And if your girlfriend doesn't backtrack and apologise for making wild leaps when you clearly worked your arse off that night, I'd be worried about the relationship. You don't think of her, yet you clean the stain of her purse. That's about as thoughtful as it gets. If you want to be extra kind and give her some understanding, you could approach it from a, is this maybe about your mum and stepdad and not actually about me? That's definitely an option, but seriously, if she can't own the shittiness of her unfair reaction, I'd be cautious about committing more deeply to her. That is fair enough. At the end of the day, you can gift understanding, but if people aren't going to own up to those mistakes, then it doesn't matter if it's your fault or not. Then they're not growing or healing from those mistakes. Someone has replied to that saying, well stated, can I have you as a boyfriend? Someone's gone, dude, if you expect anyone to believe you got home at 1 AM and then did all that cleaning and laundry and other crap in 3 hours or at all, you are seriously crazy. If you washed all the clothes at the Airbnb, what was there for you to wash other than the stuff you wore home, which wouldn't be a full load even if you were coordinating outfits? If you are so fanatical about cleaning so the house is in pristine shape in the morning, would have done all this stuff before you left for the trip. The litter is the only thing that would have needed to go out. No one was there to produce other garbage. I don't know. I'm too distracted. This is a sucking person. I'm too distracted by this person who gets home from a 1 a.m. from a flight at 1 a.m. and spends 3 hours cleaning and doing housework. I don't know, man. Like, I actually kind of get that. I can't lie. I do actually kind of get that, because like, you get home, you're tired, you're exhausted. Anyway, let me just get this shit done. Let me get this. I'm going to bed and wake up and it's done. You're up already. Why leave off till the morning when you can just get done? I actually kind of get it. I would be inclined to do it. You're already up and you're probably tired, but you're already up, you know. I would rather get it done that night, some things, and then go to bed. But then again, I much prefer, I'm a bit of a night owl, I guess. I prefer being up super late and getting up later in the morning. But that's just me personally. Yeah, that's my set of opinions on this one. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, consider dropping a like, consider subscribing. If you're not already, let's get well on the way to 2,000, right, folks? Anyway, yeah, my digression on that. Oh, if you are subscribed already and haven't hit the bell icon, you probably should. Let yourselves be notified by my videos if you enjoy them. That